time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Feel, don't think.
Fear is my ally.
The Force will be with you.
We are encouraged to love.
Be mindful of your thoughts.
I will not betray the Republic.
Hey, your worship, I'm only trying to help.
Scruffy-looking nerf herder.
I'm not afraid.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
So, I think the world has found out that being opinionated and saying things that aren't popular while you're on a press tour for your movie and saying things that are considered not just controversial, but bigoted, is not going to help your movie. Case in point, Rachel Zegler in Snow White. Rachel Zegler hates the original fairy tale and made sure that everybody knew before the movie came out, or after it was done filming, the principal photography before the dozens of reshoots, that the prince didn't matter, the romance didn't matter. She's a strong, independent girl. Her misandry was literally off the fucking charts. And it didn't help her movie. And the fact of the matter is, she's bragging how her Snow White, her version would reflect the times now. And it's a fairy tale. It's not supposed to. The fact that she belittled the love story and that the love story really did take second place when it's supposed to be the number one priority in the story shows just how woke and insensitive girls like her are. Then we get into the controversial thing she said about Israel. I am a supporter of the Jews. You guys know why. I find it deeply troubling that girls like her don't understand the context of why that country exists in the first place. All right. And I'm sure where she grew up that she heard a lot of anti-Semitic crap being puked about amongst her peers. All right. Snow White failed because of her mouth and the poor filming. Let's talk about Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal goes to Cannes. He's in a movie about the lockdown and political polarization and BLM and all the rest of that disgusting Democrat shit, and went off on Trump. Now, this is a guy that in 2020 called Trump supporters Nazis. We have a double standard here. We have two actors here, Rachel Zegler and Pedro Pascal, who have mouths of alligators attached to the brains of a hummingbird. You know, when Harrison Ford said, "Why should anybody listen to me about politics? I'm an actor," he wasn't saying that because he's not interested in politics. He knows what his job is, to put butts in seats. And back then, political statements just turned people away. I mean, and when you think about the pretentiousness of Jane Fonda, of Donald Sutherland back in the day, Robert Redford, it's like, fuck you. You're an actor, shut up. You're a singer, shut up. And it's the same thing with Pedro Pascal. It is not that he doesn't have the right to say what he wants. It is the fact that when he does it, the people in the audience who disagree with him, and if you look at the electorate, 55% approval rating for Donald Trump. That's the highest it's ever been for him, and the highest it has been for a president in a long time. And this Pedro Pascal is so out of touch. and he doesn't know how to connect with his audience, right? And he said something about fear and, everything during this thing. And the problem, again, like I've said, with Pedro, is that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he feels free to say things that aren't true about people he disagrees with politically. We're not Nazis. In fact, he's basically projecting his own need for controlling other people on people who don't want to be controlled and can't be governed. And that's basically who people that voted for Trump are. We can't be told what to do. And that's a big problem for people like him. He's from Chile. They have this history of fascism there, which is a left-wing socialist construct. Augusto Pinochet, anti-communist dictator, the helicopter tours. I consider him an anti-communist hero. And this is what Pedro sees when he hears free speech, uncensored free speech. He thinks it's fascism. All right, and it's not. And I mean, this guy comes here and immediately starts attacking the people that live here, and over politics he doesn't understand. We have a guy that doesn't know U.S. history at all. None of it. And a guy who doesn't appreciate his stance in the world. And what he's doing is, when I heard his voracious, vile speech about Donald Trump, about the borders, border security, I saw a guy whose brother has decided to be a girl, and he gets pissed off if we misgender that psychopath. I saw a guy who doesn't care about people being victims of illegal immigrant crimes, of gangs, of criminals that come here to prey on the American people. And as he continues to make an ass of himself, he's hurting a movie that's coming out next year. And this is why this needs to be dealt with by Disney. The Mandalorian. That movie has to be successful, or we're fucked as Star Wars fans. We are fucked. And he doesn't understand that. He's about in the same maturity wavelength as Rachel Zegler. Detached from reality and not understanding the ramifications. They're right to free speech, but they have to be responsible for it. And when they're doing PR for a movie like Snow White, which has nothing to do with politics, don't bring it up. Don't give a flying fuck if you're woke. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up if your brother can't tell if he's a boy or a girl. Don't bring it up if you disagree with Donald Trump on the border, if you're doing PR for a movie. Don't take the bait of the press, because it's eventually going to come back and haunt a project that doesn't have anything to do with the project you're doing PR on. Yet here we are. Pedro Pascal, let's talk more.
This is like what we understand to be Star Wars, like the idea that like that only came from George Lucas, that only George Lucas holds the key for what we understand to be Star Wars is just untrue. And I think the prequels are an excellent example of that. I mean, the idea that like when you're hiring a director, that everyone is sitting in there waiting for George Lucas and not for the person who's going to know to hire Ralph McQuarrie. That's the problem. That's the misogyny and the problem with the auteur myth as it stands today, because they're not thinking this is the person that will hire the right people, and this is the person that will be able to create the lookbooks and direct people to get.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That is one big pile of shit.
In keeping with the trusty adage, starve a cold, disgust a fever. Roger, at Cornell University, they have an incredible piece of scientific equipment known as the tunneling electron microscope. Now, this microscope is so powerful that by firing electrons, you can actually see images of the atom, the infinitesimally minute building block of our universe. Roger, if I were using that microscope right now, I still wouldn't be able to locate my interest in your problem.
And the problem, above all problems on this, is the double standard. Pedro Pascal can go and attack a majority of Americans, and Disney doesn't tell him to shut the fuck up. But, and, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't call him in to scream at him. That's insulting the audience. And for the last 10 years, Lucasfilm has been very good at insulting the audience and denigrating even venerable actors like Mark Hamill, right? The double standard. And it's not like the fans don't notice the double standard. In fact, you could trace the real problems that became apparent at Lucasfilm with the way Gina Carano was treated for her political opinions. Meanwhile, Pedro Pascal, who's, if Gina's lawsuit gets to trial, if they don't settle, will have to take the stand, gets off scot-free for doing something far more heinous, and that was insulting the audience. And Gina never did that. Asking questions and stating your opinion like she did, in the classy way she did, wasn't anything like calling somebody a Nazi when they're not, just because you don't like their politics. But let's talk about this. So the reason why I added Leslie Headland to this thing is because she was another one that got away with attacking normal people, using pejoratives like the word cis to describe normal people, attacking George Lucas, as you could see in the interview she was giving, and getting away with it. Kennedy didn't care. Everybody knows darn well she heard that interview. And there we are with Leslie Headland basically helping bully this stupid acolyte into existence when Disney didn't want to do it in the first place. And yet here we are. This is the double standard. And this is, to me, I think Headland should have to take the stand in the Carano case too, because she was part of the mob that was going after Gina that was at Lucasfilm. She was part of it. And I think it's only fair. This double standard is noticed by the fans. First thing that came out of people's mouths when Gina was kicked to the curb was Pedro Pascal got away with saying this, and this. And he gets away with it. He can. Gina Carano doesn't agree with the lockdowns. She's asking questions about the vaccines, masking up, and other things, and she gets thrown under the bus over politics because 5 idiots at Lucasfilm, well, there were supposed to be 40 in that struggle session that she avoided, thank God, felt uncomfortable and unsafe. Are you fucking kidding me? This is where it's at, and the fans notice. This is my advice. Bob Iger and Jon Favreau sit down, Pedro Pascal, and tell him to shut the fuck up about politics when he goes out on the junket for Mando and Grogu. Why? Because he's going to drive the fans away. And they can't afford it. Now the question is, does Pascal even care? I mean, that's the question we all should be asking. This is Steph signing out. See you around the galaxy.